So if you just go through all the shows that
Okay.
Broncos.
Okay. Now we're good.
All right, we are returning to regular session. Okay.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the contract as presented for Jason Pay for the calendar year
2026.
26, 29, 26, and 29.
Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve the superintendent 2026 to 2027 contract as discussed in executive session. Any further discussion? All right, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. All right, it has been unanimously approved, the superintendent contract for 2026-2027 as discussed in executive session.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And then next on the agenda is just basically, right now we're following the third Tuesday of every month schedule for our board meetings. And so we have, using that timetable or that calendar rather to kind of basically plan out next year's meetings. That's what we have here in the packet for you. And if anyone has comments, do we want to keep things the way they are? Right now we have it on the third Tuesday of every month. I think the only exception is March. Because we have to make that personnel decision and approve that before March 15th. So we have that a week earlier, except for that, it should be the third Tuesday of every month. So I just wanted to check and see if there was any discussion, any comments, if there's any desire for change, or just leave it the way it is. All right, so whenever we are ready, I will entertain a motion.
Well, I move to approve the proposed 26-27 board meeting schedule.
A second. All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve the proposed 2026-2027 board meeting schedule. Any further discussion? All right, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. So moved. And then after that, we are moving on to Rocco for the business office affairs.
Okay, so you guys are all gonna be sick to death of hearing me talk about numbers by the end of the night. So I'm gonna try and keep this short and sweet, though there are some big numbers in the month of April. So we did take in, let's go to page 26. We did take in $10.3 million of revenues. Most of that coming in from the special revenue fund. So a couple of things going on. First off, we have we processed a lot of grant reimbursements that brought in quite a bit. We processed Medicaid administrative claims. So typically 3 times a year, we are processing those claims on behalf of our districts that we run for, which at this point is actually all 12 of them. And so we will receive money in from Medicaid that we pay out to our districts. So you're seeing contract revenue come in from the grants. You're seeing the Medicaid revenue come in that we distribute out to districts. You'll also see we had nearly $2 million of state school fund payment. That is ODE catching up. They haven't quite caught up, but they're catching up the payments that they withheld because the audit was filed later than the February 1st date. Moving through to expenditures. Moving through to expenditures. Again, you're going to see a lot of expenditures during the month. Part of which on here, because we did have those Medicaid administrative claims. So you see we had transits out there of $3.4 million, $3.5 million. Some of that is us paying out the Medicaid administrative claims to our districts, getting that cash down to them. And some of it is for the big claims that we make on the grants. South Coast ESD is a sub-grantor on two of the grants, so we flow through money to them. So you're seeing a big flow through of that money to them as well. Final piece on there on the operating expenses, if you see under the special revenue fund, under service and fees, you'll see that giant $2.8 million fee. That as well is related to the Medicaid administrative claims. If people have questions as to how that flows, I am happy to go through. In the interest, I know we're short on time. I'm not going to take the time to go through that in detail now, but we can always go through it in detail later. So let's just keep moving along here. I will call out on page 28, notes payable. We are paying the big principal and interest, probably got paid either today or yesterday. So our bond is paid and current. In cash balance, we're sitting at a very healthy $23.4 million. Looking on page 29 at our two cash charts. We are continuing to see sort of that high cash balance on there holding. We are in about a month from now, you're going to see that plummet. Because in June, we will make our triple payment that pays the 3 months of salary for all of our licensed staff. So we will have a really big cash hit occur at the end of June, and you'll see that balance drift down. And I will leave that there because you're going to hear far too much from Bruce later tonight. Any questions?
So I just wanted to comment. Words are not coming from me tonight.
Yeah.
Comments on where you mentioned supplemental budget resolution forward, and this is
Thank
in
you,
this
Amy.
current year.
Thank you.
And it's because we did more Medicaid administrative claims, which is good for both us and the district. It's just that we have to
That's
put out
correct.
that 50% payment,
That's
correct?
correct. Thank you. So for appropriations on there, we appropriated about $9 million for Medicaid administrative claims. We're going to experience something, it looks like about $3.7 million beyond that. So in next month's meeting, I will bring forward a supplemental budget to expand the appropriations out there. And that just keeps us in compliance as we make that payment. Thank you for calling that to my attention, Amy.
Of course. Any other questions? All right, so I noticed as Rocco was talking that I skipped over board director reports. So I'm gonna go back a section, board director reports. I know you had your NSBA report that you wanted to share. We just have to keep track of the time, but Denise and I, yeah. So we can, just with keeping an eye on the clock, we can go ahead and share board director reports.
I don't think I have anything to report at this time.
Yesterday I was able to go adjacent to Sweet Home and to shadow for a little bit and with a support specialist. Is that Jim Jordan?
Learning consultant.
Learning consultant. Jordan.
Baskerville.
And he took us to the high school to meet the grade school, 3 of 6 teachers who are from the Philippines, part of a contract arrangement. He's supporting them with 6 people working in special ed who've been thrown in the deep end of the pool to support their work. So I really appreciated his passion and that opportunity.
Fantastic. Would you like to share about the NSBA conference?
Yeah, so I attended the NSBA conference in San Antonio, and I arrived at 8 late due to like I missed one day because of the flight. But I did go on the other 2 days, and some of the sessions that I attended, I'm trying to pull up my schedule here. Some of the sessions that I attended that I thought was really good for us to know. One was restorative leadership, and it talked about transforming school culture through connection and accountability. In this particular school, what they were doing, they were taking the level of leadership in a way where they were doing outreach to families and trying to like connect with them. And they had these different ways on how they were approaching families, like, getting a hold of community service organizations, having, like, for instance, one of the examples they did, they had a powwow. And so really integrating the culture into the school and celebrating everybody's uniqueness. And I really love how they were able to incorporate that. and what that meant for leadership and how it really also raised awareness for students. Another one that I attended, was the, LRE is everyone's responsibility, advancing equity and inclusion for students with disabilities. And they really were focused on understanding the legal and equal-based like foundations of what that meant, especially right now as we are navigating a lot of federal uncertainty, I guess to say the least. And so they were talking about what the IDEA mandates the students with disabilities, what that looked like and what Oakland schools are doing to help support students, especially those in need, including students who just recent arrivals, and what supports they're doing that for them, even though they're not ADEA. They're trying to incorporate and help them as well, knowing that funding is questionable at the moment. And then, one of the keynote speaker was Brandon. I don't know if you guys attended 2 years ago, the OSBA conference. God, I always space his last name. Yeah, he was there again. I would have liked to hear different things of what he was presenting, but that's okay. They really hyped him up, which was pretty cool. But yeah, he talked about the initiatives that he has been doing, continuing with that. Sorry, I am. His books look good. Yes, if you have a chance to read his book, definitely, read it. He had books there too for folks to purchase, as well. I'm trying to think, sorry, I have a headache. And do you want me to write down my report of everything that I attended? That way I don't take up space. I'll do that. I'll write it up and I'll send it to the board, with links and stuff that I got from them, so.
Did you have a favorite keynote?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a keynote, but it was a performance. They actually had this, one of the student groups come in and they were performing the, what is the name of the song? I took video because I thought it was pretty cool. But they actually were asked to perform with one of the famous bands. And they were really, really, really good. Hold on, I gotta find it because it was really one of those, okay, where is it? God, what is this song? Hold on, see if I can. Anyway, it was like, I was trying to figure out like what the band was, because I couldn't really hear them that well, but they were actually performing with one of the bands that was coming into San Antonio, and it was actually really cool.
So the mariachi student group?
No, it was like not an a cappella group, but it was, God, I forgot their names, and that's why I took video, because I was gonna go and look back and be like, who are they? And look at the agenda. I know, I was like, who are they? But it's cool. But I can't remember, but they were really, really good. Like, I'm over there like vibing with them as well, and everybody was dancing too. It's cool, but I'll try to figure out who they were, because they were really, really good student who performed. So anyway, that's what I have said, right? I'll send you that email to all of you, and if you have any questions, you can. Thank you.
And I could go next. So we attended the Oregon ESA conference in Sun River. There were, just a lot to learn. I appreciated the keynote. The focus was on collective impact and just thinking too about leadership differently and how do we kind of work as a collective versus working in silos. And that was kind of the theme, if you will, of the conference itself. Just some highlights. So I attended, there was a session from Ren, just talking about how they work as a collective to really meet, really advancing voices of our families and students within the public education setting. One presentation that stood out to me was actually our presentation from our ESD, because for me, it really expanded my knowledge, you know, I was like, wow, we do a lot. Right, so it really reinforced that for me, especially around, you know, like billing and how we support like mental health supports and things like that. So really enjoyed that. There was also another session on like substance abuse, which, you know, there's the ESD that serves as a hub in terms of like substance abuse resources that I thought was really interesting. And then in addition to attending the conference, yesterday, I actually came here, because I had missed being in person for the presentation with the severe disabilities, group. And so I got to see what y'all saw, except I actually got to go to the library. So did y'all get to do that? I don't think so. Okay.
You did get to know them. That's all right.
No, it was really cool. And one of the things that, you know, like one of my big takeaways from that was how important it is to make sure that that group is really knowledgeable about like changing curricula, for example, and the need always, yeah, and the need always to make sure that they're connected with their professional bodies, right? Because curriculum changes, like we have all of these discussions about reading, it was going one direction, now it's going the other. And if we aren't on top of that, right, it impacts our component districts and their students. So, and that's it for me.
Thank you, Denise. Yes, I also went to that conference. It was great. And then she already commented on some of the things that I had down in my notes. So for the sake of time, I will just go to the other things. I went to a breakout session with Multnomah ESD about the importance of the relationship between the board chair and the board secretary. And so that was an interesting one, and a couple of things that I took away from that. They have a really cool digital resource document for onboarding new members. It has like a menu on the left-hand side with all these different tabs, a bunch of great information in it. And so taking that away, I would like to try to start implementing something like that here. And so I will get working on that and coordinate about that. And then an interesting thing that they said too is like something that's important for board members to do is like if we have complex questions, those aren't necessarily always best served by asking it in the meeting. If we know ahead of time that we have the question, we can reach out and ask it ahead of time, just so like whatever staff member is in the public meeting, has more time to prepare to answer it, and they're just not like put on the spot with something that's really complex. So I thought that was interesting. And then also there was a breakout with Intermountain ESD and talking about ESDs and the difference between ESDs and school districts. And then an interesting thing that they said was ESDs function as another level of equity, ensuring equity. And then also I will do a more detailed overview in an email, but they also talked about the 12 characteristics of an impactful board. So I will share more about that later. And all right, so you don't have anything for superintendent?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just going to highlight a couple things that are on page 31, and you had a chance to see those in your packet, and so we can wrap up in
Thank you.
terms of time.
Sorry.
No, it's square away.
All right, and then I think beyond that, information only at the end of the packet, and then there's some important dates. During the budget meeting that's after this, we will decide if we need that second date, which is Tuesday, May 26th, which would be a week from today. Other than that, it's just our next two regularly scheduled board meetings on June 16th and July 21st. And with